Hi guys, you're in the kitchen with Rob and I have got a beauty for you today. We are going to make a pudding and it's a 2-for-1 because when we've done the base recipe, you can go off into one of two directions. You can turn it into an ice cream or you can turn it into a mousse. It really comes down to your personal preference on a day. But if you do have any late night cravings or a sweet tooth, this is for you, and you can thank me later because it really will solve those issues where you will not need to reach out for those naughty treats and you can have this as a healthier option. Right, enjoy guys, and we go through the macros and the cost at the end as always, and I'll go into it more broadly on my website. So enjoy the ride guys, and I hope you enjoy it. So, base ingredients. We have 60 grams of vanilla casein protein from my protein, okay, and this is all weighed out for my nutrients I desire to get from this pudding. We're going to have 25 grams of, as you can see, my protein almond butter. We've got 200 milligrams of unsweetened almond milk. We've got more liquid. This is just water guys, okay, in case that isn't enough liquid we might need some more, but I've capped it at 200 milliliters and the rest of it will come with water. And we've got some cocoa nibs, okay. I buy these from Whole Foods online, okay, but you can buy them anywhere. You can buy them at Tesco, but everything that I'm costing out and the nutrients are from obviously the ingredients I have in my recipe. Okay, so guys, let's get cracking. So we've already weighed out the casein protein, okay, and what we're going to do here, we are going to just add the almond milk, okay, and slowly mix it in. Okay, now you've got to be patient here guys, got to be patient, just slowly mix it in, and it thickens up almost to a plaster of Paris consistency, okay, where it looks quite runny, but it turns out to be just a thick pudding. And this on its own, guys, is fantastic, but this is for me later. I would highly recommend making this a few hours in advance. I'll tell you some reasons why afterwards. But as you can see, it's slowly thickening up. Okay, it looks quite lumpy, but believe me, it isn't lumpy once we have mixed it all in. Now, like I say, you can use less liquid here, guys. You can even add in more liquid if desired, depending on the texture you require. Okay, and obviously once the powder's mixed in, then you can do it more vigorously. Okay, and I'm going to leave it at that, guys. I'm actually not going to add any water to it. Ideally, I would have this a little bit thicker. So 200 ml, okay, might be just a tad too much, but it's still a very good texture, and I'm okay with that. Okay, so like I said, we're going to go with 25 grams of almond butter. So let's zero that out. And my advice, if you ever do, okay, spoon out your almond butter or peanut butter, you can have cashew butter, then I would wet the spoon first. It just comes off a little bit easier. So 24, 25, perfect. Look at that, wow. Doesn't always get that perfect, I can tell you that. And we're going to go with just 10 grams of cocoa nibs, cacao nibs, sorry. Never know how to pronounce those properly. I don't know if there is an official way of pronouncing it, but let's go with cacao. 35 grams, so obviously on top of the 25 from the almond butter. That is, let's zero that off. That's all those ingredients. At the minute, there's one thing to add, but this, as I say, turns into an amazing dessert. So you can see the texture, Okay, nice and creamy. And you can already start to see it is turning into what one of our options will be, a protein mousse. Now, I shouldn't have turned off the scales actually, I forgot there's the one thing to add, I've got to weigh out. And that is, I go with frozen blueberries. Okay, you don't have to go with frozen blueberries, you can go with pretty much anything you want, but frozen is better if you are going to make what I will say the other dessert of ice cream. So 150 grams, perfect, spot on. I'm on a roll here, guys. It's not very often it is weighed out very accurately like that, to the penny, so to speak. And then just mix it in, okay? And if you are going to turn it into an ice cream, frozen blueberries is a godsend because it already gets what is now a mousse, okay? Extremely cold, and it takes less time to form an ice cream when it goes in your freezer. Now you can see it's really thickening up now. And what I always do is just go around the sides, taking it off the edges of the bowl, flattening it down to make it more of a solid mixture. Take the remainder of the spoon, and then in true chefing fashion, have a little taster. And that is the end result, guys. It is absolutely gorgeous. And like I say, you can do two different things here with this. You can either eat it straight away as a mousse. And if you do, you will be very happy. It is a lovely mousse to have. Obviously, bear in mind you do have frozen blueberries in there. So if you have a mousse, maybe use fresh blueberries or go for a fresh fruit. Apple's another good one here. Okay, also as well, it depends on the flavour of your casein mousse or casein powder you get. This is vanilla. I also get a chocolate flavour, but vanilla is my preference at the minute. So I buy them in bulk, so I'm left with vanilla for the upcoming future, let's say. I'm going to have this as ice cream, and when you do make it ice cream, I advise you to make it in advance. The reason being is because it takes around about an hour before you want to eat it to turn it into, okay, edible ice cream. Any longer than that, okay, you can have it. It is still edible, but it's hard to get out, okay, because it does go harder because obviously it hasn't got any fat or sugar in it, okay, or very little sugar from from the protein powder. Then it's not as easy, okay, to get out the bowl as normal ice cream. But an hour will do it, okay, and I will put this in the fridge, okay. It will harden up just a tad in the next few hours, and when I have it, okay, around 7 o'clock when my kid goes to bed, I will put it in the freezer around 6 and it'll be ready, okay, and waiting for me when he retires from the night. Okay, so I'll just stick that in the fridge for now, somewhere. I don't have a lot of space, I've gone shopping today. So let's go through the macros and the cost of the dish. So you can see here, guys, okay, protein ice cream or mousse, okay, you can go with either one. It doesn't change the macros or the cost whatsoever. Calories here, you got, let me just turn the light off because you're getting a bit of a glare there, okay. So you got 527.4 calories in this dish. Protein, 56.4, carbs, 18.5, and 22 grams of fat. And the cost is £2.68. Now, these whole macros and cost is based on my nutrients required from this dish. Obviously, as you take the nutrients and play around with the amounts according to your macros that you require from this dish, then obviously it will change these accordingly. You could make it cheaper or more expensive, or you could make the calories, protein, carbs and fats alter according to your own goals. It really comes down to you. You don't, obviously, if you want to lower the fats, need to put as much almond butter in. You don't have to have as much carbs if you want to lower the amount of blueberries, or go for a berry or fruit that might be less in carbohydrates than blueberries. Protein, obviously the bulk of it's coming from the casein. Okay, obviously you've got a bit of an almond butter in the almond butter as well, but you can lower that as well. You can increase it if you really want to go high protein, and all of those are going to change your calories, and as I said, cost already. So guys, that is casein pudding / ice cream or mousse. Really depends on obviously your preference on that day. I like to make this, okay, and go with, obviously, if the sun's out and you've got a chance to sit outside, which in the UK isn't very often, obviously, but you can turn it into ice cream, where if it's a cold, certainly at the moment where it's very cold, very hot, very cold, very hot, it's raining, it's not, pretty much by the day, you can obviously go with right there and then what you fancy according to the weather. It comes down to you. So guys, any questions, hit me up, okay, place some comments. I've already said a couple of times, if you've got any dishes that you would really like a healthier version of, okay, so you can have that dish in your diet more often, then make a request, put in a comment, and I will do my best to accommodate your desires. Okay, so guys, I'm over and out. Take care, have a good day, and enjoy the recipe.